So Darren, this one I'm going to talk to you about is this concept, and again, we're appreciative that we have these different terms. You know, you have R for your charge and Q for your life, and we're talking about generators, and we're talking about plugs and values, and I guess it's just two old guys trying to create some metaphors that actually are interesting. But on a very serious note, let's talk about red flags. Let's talk about that. I've talked about some stuff around mental health, and again, for sure, we're not trying to replicate or trying to compete in that world. We're just very mindful that, you know, there's a fine line between having a good day and a bad day for some people, and they sometimes can't get back. Let's talk a little bit about red flags.
Sure. So when you and I decided to design this course, we sat down, talked about resiliency over, you know, many glasses of water and many walking meetings, of course. And we've came to the conclusion that resiliency is not you hit the top of the mountain, now you're resilient. Now you're Superman. There's no bullets that can penetrate you.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing that can stop you. We know that you can fall on the other side and that you can actually have some low resiliency.
Yeah.
Hopefully no resiliency doesn't occur after this course, but you can have some low resiliency because maybe you didn't sleep too well. Maybe you've had some negative thoughts. Maybe these things happen. And from my own experiences and people that I've been with, what happens is they can continue to spiral.
Yes.
What I've come to the epiphany and the learning for me is when I don't feel like going for a run, I don't get more down on myself. I now see that as a red flag, and I go back to my journal and I go back to my log and I say, oh, okay, this is just a feeling that I'm having, and I know it's more linked to I haven't been doing my resiliency stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and I'll see, yeah, I haven't been eating well, I haven't been sleeping well, I haven't been doing my meditation, I haven't done mindfulness in a while. So it's now more of a marker to move myself back over to being on
Checks
the
and balances?
Absolutely. I think that's a great term to use, that this is just a check to say this, where before my optimism was low. That's another one of Darren's red flags.
Yeah.
And I would just continually to spiral, and I would sit there for a long time. Now, when my optimism is low, as Lucy mentioned as well, now I know it's just, oh, okay, something's transpiring in my charge, either in my wall socket or in my generator, that I need to revisit to bring my charge back up. I'm hoping I'm explaining that well.
Yeah,
I don't know if
are.
you have anything to add to the red flags, but again, we have to come to the realization that we're not always, even after taking an 8-week course and doing a manual, doing the companion, that you're always going to have this high level of charge. You're going to have the low levels, and we want to use those as markers.
Well, I actually think it's a great point for us to talk about, because if we go back to the cell phone metaphor, I don't know a cell phone that works all day, every day, without ever getting charged. And so the point being is, some people are making resiliency sound like it's almost your personality. Yes, you know, there are personality attributes that are going to impact if we're grit and our persistence and our self-determination and drive, for sure. But resiliency is just like a battery. It's not static, it's dynamic. And to your point, if for whatever the reason we get distracted,
Well, we forgot to plug our battery in.
we forgot to plug our battery in.
We didn't do our skills.
Right, so some self-compassion. So I started the course and I was going really good, and a girlfriend broke up with me, or a boyfriend, or whatever it may be, and I got upset or I got frustrated. Welcome to being a human being. I wish we could give you the magic bullet, but we can't. And so at the end of the day, what it is, it's actually that self-compassion is well, you know what, I had a couple of weeks off. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to normalize that if I did stop. But what I like, what you're really getting into, it's early detection for relapse, for preventing ourselves from stopping or giving up or getting off track. So whether it's being something to do with, like your point, where it's an activity around change in behaviors, adding new behaviors, things that are outside the realm of normal, or things that you would like to be doing, you're starting to feel that pang, a regret, going, God, I should be doing this, or why am I not doing that? That may be because you have some stuff you need to process, and you may, to your point, going back to your journal or your social network or your trusted friend, or whatever it may be, to get yourself focused and then look at yourself and be honest. Where's my battery now? Am I at a 10% charge? Am I at a 40% charge? And what are the consequences for me to allow myself to continue to try to be my optimal? No, well, is the best I can be. Optimal, perhaps. What is to get myself close to where I have the day with a full charge and get down. I think that's what you're suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at my old phone here,
Yeah.
the great thing is I'll get a red marker prior to it just crashing and cutting out.
Yeah.
We're trying to provide people, and what you want to self-reflect on and become self-aware is, when is my battery at red?
Yeah.
You know, I haven't plugged in, I haven't been doing my micro skills, I haven't plugged in overnight into my generator, and now I'm on red, and I better go back and plug in to get some juice, rather than letting yourself crash. So I think the cell phone analogy makes total sense to me. And like I said, on most cell phones now, you'll get a red, and even sometimes a flashing red. It's time to plug in.
So I'm supposing this is one worksheet you really want them to do.
I want them to do it.
Yeah, and get that, and kind of, you know, the other thing too is I've actually done with some of my clients is take those 2 or 3 things and actually put it on in their wallet.
Yes.
So, you know, and so if I start to do this, not only identify when I have a red flag, what do I do? So it's kind of like, okay, so it's kind of like, if you have a headache, you take aspirin or Tylenol. If you feel hungry, you eat food. So you're saying identify it and then write yourself a little prescription ahead of time, what you can do to re-engage yourself. I love this. So,
Yeah.
okay, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.